Hello and welcome back. We are here at the expo floor of the Venetian at AWS reInvent in Las Vegas. We just had a great keynote recap session from some of the folks from our developer relations team. We've got a nice, exciting session lined up for you here. We're talking a little bit about the week-long stream that we'll be doing, and in particular, this charity element that we'll actually be having along with the stream. But before we get into any of the details, let's introduce ourselves up here. So first, I'm Nick Walsh. I'm a technical evangelist here at Amazon Web Services. And joining me is another co-host, but especially our guest of honor here in the middle. Why don't you go next?
I'm Brian Burton, President and CEO of 3 Square Food Bank right here in Las Vegas.
And Rudy Chetty, a Senior Solutions Architect with AWS.
Awesome. So Rudy, Brian, thank you. Excited for this session. So as I mentioned before, we have a bit of a charity element to our stream here.
Oh, yeah.
And so before we get into the charity in its specifics, first, you can all scroll down on the stream. You can go down into the description and the information, and there should be a panel there that you should see. It's probably called Tiltify. This is an extension that will enable you to donate throughout the course of our stream, whether we're online, offline, what have you.
So really do it efficiently, and we can reach so many children now through our vast agency network of partners that serve children, excuse me.
Wonderful. So again, 3 Square operates here in Southern Nevada. You said there's a network. Could you expound on that a little bit? What does that network look like?
Yeah, Feeding America is the largest domestic hunger relief nonprofit in the United States.
Okay, yeah.
There's 202 food banks that are credentialed, audited, and resourced through them. We're all independently governed by a board of directors. We're all nonprofits. But it's such an advantageous, efficient system because we're able to leverage huge partner relationships through Kraft, General Mills, all the national food manufacturers. We're able to get pass-through grants from wonderful partners like Amazon, and we're able to really leverage that brand integrity. And people know that when they're giving to a Feeding America food bank like 3 Square, there's no question those funds are being handled effectively and with impact.
And so anytime someone thinks about charity, I know I think about, when I donate $1, how does that move through the pipeline and ultimately get to the cause that, I want to benefit, right?
Yeah.
At 3 Square, what does that look like? What is that, trickle-down effect of the donations?
This is the truly amazing thing that you kind of, when you hear it, you say, is that true? We have such vast a scale of efficiency that we're able to really leverage donated product, and through 35,000 volunteers a year, we're able to leverage a lot of free labor and human resources. And so 94 cents of every dollar that you donate to 3 Square goes directly into programs. And we're able to turn $1 into 3 meals. And now between today and the end of the year, we have corporate matching partners that are going to double that impact. So all the donations that are made at this meeting will be matched. So $1 equals 6 meals. I mean, where can you find a deal like that?
No, that's amazing. I mean, again, not to harp on it, but every dollar that's donated results in 94 cents of direct aid to individuals.
Absolutely.
That's an amazing amount of
that
efficiency.
much? Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, it's really unheard of, and it's really hard to find that in the charitable sector, but because of our large infrastructure, we're able to buy in bulk. We're able to really leverage those national vendors like we mentioned. We're able to really max out those efficiencies.
Yeah. Can I ask a more personal question? Do you actually have kids?
I don't have children. I have a niece and a nephew.
Oh, okay, so it's still pretty close to home, this topic.
Oh, absolutely. I worked in Dallas for 15 years before I moved here 8 years ago, and I was on the front lines of seeing poverty there, and it simply it impacts you like none other. We're kind of separated as a society, even though we think we're all connected, but economically we tend to be distanced from each other in most communities. And the wonderful thing about a mission of solving hunger is it brings all those diverse elements of our community together. And so we have 120,000 square foot warehouse. On any given day, there's about 200 volunteers that are there, and children as young as age 10. But yeah, you're right, Rudy. I mean, you cannot see a kid who's obviously hungry and struggling, knowing that it's not their fault. They didn't choose the family they were born into.
True.
And
look,
so,
I mean, and a more personal aspect from myself as well is coming from South Africa, and Cape Town, South Africa, is we see this disparity a lot there too. So it's wonderful that you're trying to mitigate, to change that, and positively impact people's lives by feeding people who need it.
yeah. And we are not a typical charity. We use a lot of analytics. We use a lot of research, a lot of data, and we're able to really pinpoint where hunger is hiding out.
Okay.
Even in some zip codes that may not look impoverished, there's oftentimes an apartment complex or a housing area that is filled with people who need our services. So we're doing a very good job. We're about 86% of the way of closing what we call the meal gap here in our community. So we're nipping at the heels of hunger.
Another really interesting point when it comes to hunger are these concepts of food deserts.
Yes.
There are places where, by definition, food can be acquired for some nominal amount of money, but it's often highly processed, not nutritious, and it creates a downward spiral of health that more nutritious food often can provide, but it's not available in a given region or at a price point that's attainable. So, Three Square's motto is "Together we can feed everyone," and I think one of those big parts that you mentioned is outreach, identifying those communities. It's really critical to not just meet hunger where you already know it is, but to actually seek it out, because sometimes those people that are most disenfranchised are also not able to come and reach out to you for the help that they may need.
You've studied well on this, man. I mean, that's
just a citizen
awesome.
of the world, man. I
love it. I love it. Yeah. So it's true. We don't exist without collaboration, and so we have 180 agency partners, like Salvation Army, Catholic Charities. They're the heroes. They're the real angels on the front lines. We're the hidden hands helping behind the scenes. We provide the sourcing, the infrastructure, the support to remove all the aggravation, the time and labor and expertise that it takes to handle food safely. And we save them millions of dollars every year by sourcing the food for them. So it's such an efficient model. It's really genius. It's really unparalleled. And I think everyone who donates this week is going to feel really good about the impact they're going to make in people's lives. I mean, last Thursday we were gathered around tables. Most of us had plenty of food. We couldn't eat it all. And so just think about those that are in your own community. There's a Three Square, not by that name, but there's a Feeding America food bank in every community that's represented at this meeting. And I strongly encourage people to find out how they can get involved, because every person makes a difference, and it's a solvable problem.
Again, would love to reemphasize that this is a live stream, so if you have any questions for Brian or us up here on the desk, please ask in chat, and I think that's a great segue to actually forward one of the questions along. Given how efficient Three Square is, how large is the team, would you say, of like core members?
Well, I have an executive team of 5, and then we have a total staff, paid staff, part-time and full-time, of 145.
Wow.
And with those 35,000 volunteers I mentioned earlier, that's the equivalent of 71 full-time paid employees. So that's a huge leverage there. But it really, when I think about our team and our volunteers, the passion, it reminds me of this place. It's like unbelievable, the commitment that everyone has toward this mission, because they know that we have the infrastructure, we have the expertise, we have the ingenuity. We just need the resources to finish that last mile of closing the meal gap here in Southern Nevada. I know we can do it.
It's very possible. I mean, like you said, it's not the kids' fault, and you're trying to help the parents or help people who actually need it, and it's a wonderful thing that you're doing.
Thank you. And many of these families, it's not just people sitting around, taking a check.
Oh, no,
These are hard-working people
hard.
that, our new reality in our economy today is we have a paradox of growing affluence and growing poverty. And so we have many people that are struggling. They don't have the skills and experience, perhaps, to make a livable wage. And so it's with great joy that we help people on a very temporary basis, or if we need to, longer term. If you're disabled or a senior adult or there's some reason, with great joy we will continue to serve you so that you can have a better life, so that you can enjoy all of the pleasures and happiness and potential that we all enjoy in this society.
Wonderful.
No,
So I have a
let's-
question about the
yeah.
holiday match challenge.
Oh, yes.
Before we get into that, I actually had another question from the chat. Someone wanted to know, what is the largest immediate challenge that your organization faces in delivering on your mission?
Sure. Well, we're about to launch a 3-year campaign, and we believe that if we raise those funds, it's basically $45 million, that we will actually be the first major city in the United States to end hunger. Well, we have to do that every year, but that amount of investment is going to create some endowment money for the next downturn to soften that. It will replace a lot of trucks and forklifts, but it'll also build up those 180 agency partners that I was talking about, because many of them are small, fledgling grassroots groups that just don't have the sort of fundraising reach that we have.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that money is just going through 3 Square out to the community. So I'd say what's top of mind right now is we're about to go out and engage this community and see who can help us over the next 3 years really finish that last mile of solving hunger in southern Nevada.
Looks like we've actually got another question here
Okay.
from divzz_. Do you have any projects in South America, specifically Brazil?
Actually, that would be what's called the Global Food Bank.
Okay.
And so Feeding America is just like the name infers.
So, okay.
It's the United States and our territories. And so as much as I would love to do that, and
Yeah.
sometimes with my church I do mission trips and so forth personally, but it's really outside our mission, but Lord knows there's a huge need.
There is a need.
There.
And like you said, you haven't been to Africa, the continent.
It's on my bucket list.
So
really.
South Africa is a place I recommend visiting, and then also see if you can maybe do some global expansion.
I'd love it. It would be so much fun. Tell my board of directors that.
I'll tell you about you heard that, board of directors.
So tying it all together in the here and now, let's talk a little bit about the Holiday Match Challenge that I think you alluded to before. As a part of our collaboration together, what can folks anticipate when they're donating here? Because again, we
Sure.
have an extension in the chat that they can,
Sure.
or an extension below the video to donate. What is the Holiday Match
Well,
Challenge?
there's 3 great corporate partners, Boyd Gaming, Barrett Gold, and United Healthcare, that are based here locally. And they have put up matching dollars so that every dollar that's given between now and the end of the year can multiply into 6 meals.
Okay.
And so that's the real attraction of giving now, because if you just picture every dollar that you give today or this week, look at what's going to happen. Six people get fed. I mean, we can't do that, on the most efficient budget we have personally, even hitting a clearance rack. We have such leverage and efficiencies that we can actually make that happen. And so I would just encourage people to take that into consideration as they give generously, and also think about what's going to happen after the holidays. Hunger is not seasonal. It's all year long. So as you return to your communities, type in Feeding America in your community, and you will find a very similar food bank with similar impressive metrics and efficiencies, just like 3 Square Food Bank. And so it's a really sound investment.
Wonderful. So again, from the top, 3 Square, an amazing local food bank organization helping to feed the hungry here in southern Nevada. Further, an extremely efficient and lean organization that for every dollar that comes in is able to provide 94 cents of that directly in food. On top of your scale, you're able to provide 3 meals for every $1. And as a part of our holiday match challenge,
That's amazing.
that doubles because of organizations that are matching. So for every dollar you donate, that puts 6 meals on the table for some of the
Exactly.
hungry folks around the area here.
Exactly.
Again, we're going to be keeping this extension and this holiday match challenge going for the duration of our streams here at reInvent. You can scroll down below the video feed and find a panel where you can directly donate. This is all super interesting, but on top of those monetary donations, I actually believe that the excess food here at reInvent is actually getting packaged and donated along
there
the
you go.
food bank.
Fantastic.
So
We're so grateful. There's so much food that's wasted here on the Strip, as you can imagine. And we tackled that 2 years ago, and we're rescuing tons of food off the Strip. We were able to distribute 40 tons of turkeys just last week.
40 tons.
40
Wow.
tons.
That is
That-
a
that-
lot of turkey.
That's not an unusual day for us.
Oh, that's not unusual. Okay, well, Geez, I
it's
hope,
crazy.
hope you can donate even more then. Like you go exponential, and the fact that you help more and more people. I mean, it's a
Absolutely.
fundamental necessity for life, and
Yeah, it's a basic essential. You
yeah.
know, without food, you can't really dream about your job and your kids' future.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And closing things out here in a little bit, I
Sure,
really love
sure.
the fact that you use the word rescued, because when it comes to food waste, a lot of this is excess food that would otherwise be completely wasted or thrown in the trash.
Yeah.
And so it's not just about providing and bringing in new fresh food, but sometimes just making the most of what we have. So again,
Absolutely.
in addition to being able to get 3 Square a platform here on our stream and to collaborate with you for such an amazing cause, again, we're thanking you for having you here. If folks want to learn a little bit more about 3 Square Food Bank, where can they go online?
Our website is 3square.org. 3 spelled out, square, like 3 square meals. .org. Again, we are so grateful. What a wonderful thing for you to do at this meeting to help our community become more whole, humane, and to flourish, and to not forget the fact that 1 out of 8 people in our community is hungry.
I think it's a fantastic thing you guys are doing. We hope we wish you the best for it.
Thank you.
And hope that you can expand further and further. Just, keep going, I should say.
We will.
Yeah, and
We're not going to grow weary, trust me.
not going to go away. I mean,
We're passionate about this.
That's
Cool.
a solid way to close off. So again, Nick and Rudy here on the ends from AWS. Happy to bring you Brian Burton, President and CEO of 3 Square Food Bank. So thank you for tuning in. Stick around and we'll have more sessions coming right up.
see you soon.